For me, having a newborn baby, especially if it's your first baby, and then so your baby's born, you're still trying to recover. You're getting to know your baby. It's a completely new situation with your husband or with your partner. And then a lot of people already in the newborn phase started to ask me, how does your baby sleep? Is she already sleeping through the night, or does she nap well? And it puts a lot of pressure on a mom. And especially if your baby doesn't sleep very well, it just can make you feel very, very uncomfortable. So if you're a new mom and you're experiencing this, it's not your fault that your baby's not sleeping. And also you don't have to listen to what other people say. Newborn sleep is completely different from sleep when babies are older. So there's a very big change when your baby is around 4 months old. And this is when their sleep kind of develops and matures, which means that in the newborn phase, so the first 12 weeks, sometimes 16 weeks, it depends on the baby, your baby's sleep is not matured, it's not developed yet, meaning your baby is literally not able to fall asleep on their own. That's just not something they can do. And as a new mom, this is very good to realize, because it's okay to help them a little bit, right? So if your baby likes falling asleep, on your boob or just on you, in the first couple of weeks, this is completely okay, because their brains are not able to understand how to fall asleep by themselves. And this has to do with a lot of things. So it's basically there's no wire, let's say, from their brain to their body and the other way around to tell them, we're tired, we need to sleep. But there are also no hormones yet to help them fall asleep. So the hormone that helps us fall asleep is called melatonin. We probably all heard of it. And babies only start to develop this when they're around 8 or 9 weeks old. Before that, they don't develop it. So if you don't develop the hormone, it's also harder to, fall asleep by yourself. The first 3 weeks, very cool, they have maternal melatonin. So when they are born, when they're still in the womb, they get melatonin from the mother, which they bring with them when they are born. And the first 3 weeks, that's how they sleep so much when they're very, very, very tiny, because it's literally your melatonin that they have inside of them. What you can do, though, in the newborn phase about sleep is to work already on kind of healthy sleep habits. So in that way, we're talking about a good sleep environment. But there are 2 other things that will really help your baby sleep well. And I would like to talk about those right now. So the first one is you can swaddle your baby. Now, this is another controversial topic a little bit, as in some cultures it's really normal to do, and in other cultures people think it's ridiculous and nobody does it, right? If you would like to swaddle your baby but everybody tells you you shouldn't, that can be a little bit hard. And that's one of the things that we are very strongly thinking of, is giving people more information about sleep. Because if you feel secure about what you know and how to help your baby, you can also be secure as a mom. So the reason why swaddling is so good for a baby is because of 2 things. So the first is that babies, when they're in the belly, when they're in the womb, they have a very, very small space. And they've had it for, their whole lives. The space they have in your belly is very small. So this makes them feel very comfortable, because that's all they know. They only know a small space. After they're born and you put them in, their cot, or even if you put them in a bassinet, it can feel quite big for them. So by swaddling them, you make them feel more comfortable, because you're recreating what it felt like when they were in the belly. So babies actually really do not like sleeping or being in a silent space. They do not like it at all. The reason is that since they were in your belly, they always heard a lot of noise, because they don't just hear the outside noises, they also hear your blood going through your arteries, they hear your stomach making sounds if you're processing food, from whenever they can remember sounds, basically. So I don't know when their ears grow in the belly, but when their ears starting to, function, that's when they heard noises. So babies basically have never been in a silent space until they were born. And somehow our Western society decided that babies need to be in a silent space. Babies don't like that. So by just putting white noise on, you already make them feel so much more secure and comfortable, because that's what they're used to.
And today I would like to draw your attention to cultural and social definitions of an ideal mother. Yeah, these stereotypes that we grow with since we are kids, and stereotypes that are being repeated by our grandmothers, mothers, aunts, friends, society, whoever. And if I ask you, what is a stereotype of a motherhood in your country, in your city, in your family, I just wonder, what would you point out? Yeah. In other words, what is expected from you as a mother? Even if these words are not unspoken, if there are things that you just don't hear anywhere, you can say that you can feel it in the air. It's tangible. You know what I mean? So it's important to answer these questions to yourself, so you understand where the pressure is coming from. And once more, I want to stress that it's not always spoken out. It doesn't have to be like, direct pressure from your mom, from your aunt, from your friends, from whoever. But it's more about this inner feeling, or, you just feel what you are expected to be, or who you are expected to become. How are you expected to behave? Yeah. So I'm talking about it because the pressure also relates to our babies. There is this expression, sleeping like a baby, and actually it means to sleep very well. But, I was always wondering, when having my own baby, or when listening to my clients' stories, where the heck does it come from? Like, their babies are not sleeping great. My baby was also not sleeping super extra, yeah, in the beginning especially. So, yeah, and moreover, correct me if I'm wrong, but we also like things to be the way we want them to be. Yeah, we feel safe when things are under our control. We feel great when people behave in the way we would like them to behave. And here you have this innocent wee creature who is completely opposite. Yeah, it has his own agenda. I mean, like, to be clear, it doesn't do anything on purpose, yeah? It's not that your baby is mean or something, but the fact is that it's not acting the way you would like her or him to, yeah? So after we are done with our webinar, I would like you to invite you to take a moment to think if all these three methods that Marijke mentioned you have tried, and if not, would you like to try them? And what's more important, what are your feelings behind it? Yeah. So